Hey guys, um, not much happening here this week. Well, there is. I've been flat out, but I don't know if I've achieved much. I don't know if there's much to see. Anyway, um, just put this up on here and have a look. It's got about 400 kilometres on it, and yeah. Hey David, Stuart, g'day. Mark Osborne, hello. Tea and biscuits, g'day. Um, bit like getting this on YouTube tonight. Sorry. It's done about 500 kilometres now, and just wanted to sort of a bit of a look around, really. See, this was loose, and I discovered this collar wasn't all the way down. This collar, it's got basically it's a piece of flat. I'll remove this so you can actually see probably. Hey, John. Piece of flat bent around here with nut on each side, which isn't really the option. It's a bit kind of crap. I'm not 1000% sure if I like it. And it's just got two cam lock levers, one each side. And this folds down on this bolt. Swings over when you lift this up. If you don't put this back down properly, it's loose. And coming home tonight, it was a bit loose. So it was a fairly slow trip home. But that's all it was, is it wasn't bolted down properly. So I fixed that. I don't know if anyone had a close look at this up front. There's Engineer Brun's video, excellent. I have to go and check that out. There's also a Chirpy video, looks like it's going to be good. Check that out too. Fridge, g'day. Anyway, so I just done a bit of a, the gate is a bit of a clean too, because it's pretty grotty. We've had a lot of wet weather and it rained again last night. We might run out of tyres. I just wanted to check brakes and things. Everything looks all right. Might put it down now and charge it. See that folds there like that. Can you see that? Maybe. Probably not. Pretty poor. Try that. This slides up and down. See there? That's not right down. It rocks backwards and forwards. But there we go. So just bolt bends over. Okay, it's a tin of paint. That's the bell. Anyway, it's all on charge, ready to go. So, legal here? The insurance and licence? No, it's legal. Paul, good day. Queensland they're legal. New South Wales they're not. I think Victoria they're probably not either. I don't know where else they're legal, but they're legal in Queensland. Across the border they're not. It's a bit, yeah. Stuart, have I got all the wood from the canopy cleaned and sanded yet? No, I'm about a third of the way actually. We'll have a look at that, eh? That'll be next. If anyone's interested. Bikes all over there, on charge now. We got 51 volts. Might leave that on for a bit. Would like about 55 before I go to work. Hasn't been charged for a couple of days. Headlight. It's pretty good. This is not sure of the name, but pretty fantastic. Higher ones are legal in most states. That's not working. We've stuffed up the headlight. Yeah, stuffed that up. Don't know what I've done there. Does all sorts of things. I hope no one has epilepsy, but that's off. It is legal here. This is not legal in any other state in Australia, I don't think, because it's kind of 52 volts. I'm not sure how many watt the motors are, but it's got dual motors. It's kind of a bit faster than is legal here, to be honest, but it's good. Hey, Paul. This is the first 10 boards or so. These are ready for undercoat, really. I've had a bit of a go at them. Some of these have been re-glued. They were all a bit of a mess. There's a few bits in here that I've glued back in because they're all broken. If you have a look at this, I think I'm just going to put epoxy through this, but it's cracked all the way, like nearly every place it's had a blue cut tack in it. They just cut tacks all the way through, and that's a bit ordinary, and it's a bit of hardwood. So I'm going to use stainless steel staples to hold the canvas down this next time. And I might just put some 2-pack epoxy in that and get it all sort of half up and reasonable. These are all sort of numbered. It's number 7, that one's number 3, number 4, number 6, number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, and 12. So these are looking okay, actually. There's a fair bit of work in them. I've been scraping paint and sanding them back, getting them somewhere near. So that's what we're at. These are the ones left to do. I've given these a go with the degreaser and disassembled everything. These aren't sticky anymore, but when it first arrived here, this was all black and oily and pretty ordinary, to be honest. But I've degreased them, dismantled everything because they're all numbered too. And basically, they need a clean and some undercoat or some primer, a 2-pack primer. An epoxy primer I've got for boats, and then a coat of enamel. And all bolting back together on the frames, which are no longer sticky either. These were pretty gross. Give you some sort of an idea. I can actually touch these now. But there's 3 of those. So they bolt across, and then these are the end frames here. These all need pulling down a coat of paint, stripping back. So these are really solid. This is, I guess, 1.25" solid round. There's a hook on here for fire irons, etc. Another one here on the back. It's got a board here which probably was for a number plate or something. And the other ones goes on the fronts a fair bit shorter, a little bit narrower, goes across the horn blade, sits in behind there. And there's 2 more that go down onto the cylinder block on an angle. They're 1.25" solid too. So all those need cleaning up. Coat of paint. These could do with some undercoat and a coat of paint and clean up. Got one of those like hard stripping wheels. I'm going to try that out. I'll get into a wire wheel if it's no good, but we'll try that. Don't know if anyone's used them before. So there's this huge box of bolts that need cleaning up. If anyone wants a job, come and clean some bolts. But probably they'll just get hit with a wire wheel. That's probably all they need. So progress is, it's happening. It's happening. It's looking tidy. But a bit of work in it yet. I reckon Sunday will probably, I'm getting quicker at these, so Sunday will probably clean up most of them, and then next week I might get, by the time next live stream, and this should be undercoated. That's what I'd like to see. So we'll see how we go with that. This place is looking a bit lived in, to be honest, because I haven't done much else except sanded paint all week. But I want to get that done. Put that back on the scooter, or I'll regret not having it later. I've got to get that done because the roller's going to be here, I think, at the end of next week. And there's no undercover for it, so I'd really like to have the canopy back on pretty quick after that. So that's where we're at with that. Still got to put curtain hooks on it, and then get some curtains made for water protection, and then we're kind of okay. I think from that point rain can do its worst, which is going to be. We're going to have a wet spring apparently, because we need more rain here. Going to be miserable, which means it would be really, really awesome to get the roller down to New South Wales before Dan gets flooded out again. Because he lives on a hill, which is a really good selling point from a roller point of view, but got to get it there. We'll cross a couple of flooded rivers probably if we do get a flood. Anyway, that's what's happening. these boards, it's over here, which actually just have like, this has just got, it peels off there. It's just a vinyl sheet, I guess, which is a bit ugly. These are going to be stripped back and painted. I'm going to paint them black, I think. Don't know, these are probably chocolate brown. They might have been black ones, they might be a bit faded. We're going to paint these red on the inside, the same as everything else. We're going to paint the outside black. And we've got all this room here to sign right, so I haven't got a clue what to put on here. Coomera River Contracting or something like that. Something a little bit vanity oriented, but we'll see. We'll get someone to do that, or I'll do it myself, or depends how good a job I want. But these can wait. I mean, there's not a lot of great urgency on painting them, but it'd be nice to get them back on. Fine day, we can go down and unbolt them and do them or something like that. I don't know. But if I get them, I don't know, it's a week's work in putting the sign right on them, so I don't know. We'll see how we go. It's all happening. Don't know, don't seem to have enough 18-volt batteries for the DeWalt sander. Struggling to keep up with it, but it's all right. What's everyone else doing? I believe that there's a new video coming from Craig. There was a new video last week. He tells me he's got another one on its way. It's exciting. Might be 2 months. Always new videos from Paul at the Knackler's Workshop. John Creasy's too busy. Everyone else is asleep. What else has happened here? Haven't got the motor on the scroll saw yet. It's here, and it probably could do with a coat of paint, to be honest. It needs a grommet and a motor. But the motor works and the pulley fits, so might go and try and source a grommet or find one on eBay or something at some point and give it a coat, at least a coat of grey, and change it over. But that hasn't happened yet. It just needs an hour to do it and wire it up. It'd be a very, very useful thing to have going, to be honest. What else? Oh, this turned up this week. That's the bag. Look, over the last 6 months, I've ordered one of these about 4 times, and most people refund the money when they discover they haven't got one in stock and can't get one because it's an American thing. And I nearly bit the bullet and got one from the States, but freight and stuff was prohibitive, so it never happened. But Airbrush Megastore in South Australia had one. They're not the world's craziest, best commercial correspondence or anything like that, but they did sort of let me know they had one and they were going to ship it out, and it finally arrived. Don't know if anyone's particularly interested, but there's a lot of stripes on this roller, and there's a lot of stripes on a few projects that I've got lined up, and I've got a couple of stripe jobs to do or lining jobs to do for friends and things like that, so I thought I might as well have one. But this makes things about 1,000 times easier, to be honest. Good fine striping. It's cheating, really. You can do nice work with a brush if you're careful, but for lining work, this is probably the that's out of. I'll have a bit of a play with it. This is Vipon's sign enamel. It's pretty good stuff, actually. Seem to go through a fair bit of it. That was probably a mistake. It looks like it's fairly well mixed. Usually it's not. The biggest issue with this, of course, is that you need about 5 times as much paint as you need for most jobs. And you've got to clean it between jobs. This is what colour the inside of the roller is going to be, by the way. It's probably a bit bright, but it won't hurt. It matches the pinstriping. Give it a minute. So, this is a pretty good thing. Probably should give you a nice, neat, even line. Down to pretty thin. That's about as thin as it goes. And it's got a want to run a couple of lines close together. Probably take a little bit more time than that to set it up if you're doing a job that really mattered. So, Bugler pinstriping pen, pretty good thing. Is anyone still there? No, you're all asleep. But for fine model striping and even thicker striping, where you've got to repeat the pattern over and over and over again, probably not the easiest thing to stripe either, is a bit of cardboard. But pretty good thing. So put in a bit of care and you've got a good tool. Chat stopped working. Why is that? It's a bit strange. Look, are we back? Are we back? Is that what we need? Don't know what I've done there. I'm not sure I've done anything, to be honest. I'm not sure what happened. Are we there? I can see that. Can you see that? Can read it now. Bizarre, anyway. Don't know what that is. Hi, Raymond. Fairly easy thing anyway. Steam powered internet. Sorry, hey Bill. Hope you're feeling all right, Bill. So anyway, that's the Bugler striping tool. Pretty useful little gadget. The main issue is cleaning it every time you use it. Eastwood in the US, probably, yeah. Getting anything out of America is almost impossible now, so I've sort of given up, to be honest. So up at the other attachments, different thicknesses. So it's got, you can get a great, big, huge range of heads for it. But this one's 1/64 of an inch because it's American, up to 1/8 of an inch in this assortment. They go up to 3/8 of an inch. And then you also get like a double striper, so you can have them so that you can do a thin stripe and a thick stripe on the same pass, things like that. If you're striping something, motorbike tanks or something like that, you can set up and do that sort of thing if you need two stripes the same colour on the same pass. Take care, Craig. It's a pain though. Hi, Rust Knox. It's a bit of a pain if you've got to clean it, but it's not probably any more of a pain than if you've got to clean brushes, to be honest. But yeah, it's going to take ages to paint all the planks. But you start striping up some panels and things, it might be a whole lot quicker. Got a roller and a 3-inch brush to paint all those boards, and a whole lot more red paint than that. So that's going to be the colour, which is probably a bit bright, but seriously, the more I look, the more fouler engines I see with red canopies. So whether that's just a take on red lead undercoat, or whether it's actually the way they were, or whether it's just a more practical take on the normal white, which is what I'm going for, because white gets oily and dirty pretty quick. Hopefully red won't, or red won't be quite as noticeable between cleans. That's where we're at. Apart from that, I'd love a week off. I'd really like a week or 10 days at home here just doing jobs. I don't know when that's ever going to happen. For the last couple of times I've had time at home, I've been sick. Love to get that finished. Those projects I'd really like to get up and done. Yeah, that's probably it. It's the splatter effect you don't get. I'm sort of intending not to get too caught up in gears and things. Yeah, that's about where we're at. Apart from that, I've done very little. What have I done? Oh, a couple of errands and things. Get some thinners. Yeah, there's some terps over there. I reckon it'll take 4 hours to go hard. But got some terps. I'll grab it. That's the colour. Dear up, good day. Hey, look, here's a heads up. Not pointed at anyone in particular. I was just thinking, because it's just occurred to me then that I was going to say something about that tonight. If you've got an Instagram or a Facebook account, right? And some people do, some people don't. Some people don't believe in it. But head straight over and change your password. It's not all that difficult. And if you've got an Apple or Android phone and other devices, then Google or iTunes or whatever, remember your password. So all you really got to do is change it on one device and everything else updates. But there's a lot of scammers out there. I reckon I had 5 messages yesterday from different friends saying, hey, look, can you log in and screenshot so I can get my account back? And that's actually a scam. What they're doing is getting a screenshot of your details so they can log into your account. Or such. Or trying to validate the account that they're in so that they can change the password. So if anyone sends you a message like that, ignore them and report them. Report the conversation and change your password. It doesn't hurt occasionally. So there we go, it's a community service. Change your passwords. If you're on Discord too, it probably wouldn't hurt occasionally to change your password. So anyone who replied to my Facebook message about weighbridges near here, public weighbridges. Thanks. I don't know whether chat's disappeared again or got what, but anyway. Need a weighbridge ticket for this roller so we can get it registered. Probably going to register it in New South Wales because the conditions on the club registration is quite a lot more lenient and a whole lot better. And it's going to be stationed in New South Wales for a bit, so it'll save a whole lot of headaches too. I think the only difference is you've probably got to have a New South Wales-based club to actually sign off on it, and I think I'm on top of that. And also, you've got to go into New South Wales to pay the registration in person, but that's probably very little problems. Dan Sheed Club, yeah, Shenandoah Steam Cooperative. I don't think it's a club, to be honest. We've had a talk about that. I don't think it's going to be a club either at any point in the future, because neither of us have got time for that crap. But yeah, I don't know. We'll find someone. Anyway, there's a weighbridge. Too much hassle, too many headaches, too much paperwork, not enough hours in the day is where we're at with that. Anyway, there's a weighbridge here at Stapleton. There's a weighbridge at Stapleton, which is halfway between where the roller is now and where the roller is going to be next week, which is excellent. And it's open on public holiday, which is probably when we're going to move it, it's show holiday. So you do know that this is the biggest dog to clean. But anyway, so I haven't got a clue what a weighbridge ticket's worth nowadays. Couldn't find anything. It's a council weighbridge at the tip, the refuse centre. It's public weighbridge. It's available for use. Got no idea how much a ticket is. I'm guessing from experience that probably it's the weighbridge is free to use, and the ticket, printing the tickets, what costs money. Now, whether it's $30 or whether it's $10 or whether it's $3.50 or whether it's $150, I haven't got a clue. But if you're weighing on a truck, you've got to get two tickets, one for, so you can calculate the tear. Oh, they do that for you. So at a tip, that's one going in and one going out. They give you a ticket for the balance. Trailer's about $15 in some. I mean, in a rural tip is probably different too. And I've also got a feeling that for a 12-tonne truck or 15-tonne truck, there's probably a different rate to a car trailer. Hey, Paul. So back in the day when it used to be something that we did regularly, I seem to think it was $10, $15, something like that. But there's a bit more rural setting, and probably we didn't want a bit of paper that we could use at the motor registry, which is what the outcome we want this time. So a bit of engine oil in there won't hurt either. Keep everything soft and clean. Stop everything going hard. That's the answer. So that's a job for next week, at the end of next week. So next weekend it should be here, I think, if all goes to plan. So anyway, that's what we're working towards here. Anyone wants to come and give us a hand, we're more than welcome to. But hit me up if you want to come and help move a roller next Friday. Show day, Gold Coast. What else? I haven't got much to add really. I haven't got a lot that I've done except been to work and back, and done a lot of sanding and made a lot of boards nice and clean. So, a bit slack really. I haven't watched any YouTube, haven't done anything. Hey, Kevin. So basically it's just a matter of loading it on a truck and getting a driver to winch it down or clamp it, strap it down and chain it down, and stop by the weighbridge and unload it here as quick as he possibly can. That's where we're at with it, because tow trucks charged by the hour, and it should be, I think it's under 11 tonne. It might not be, but at this point I think it's under 11 tonne. It remains to find out. But it should fit on a smaller truck instead of a super tilt, which is basically a articulated tilt trailer. The reason it won't go on a standard tilt truck later on is because of the height. Once it gets the canopy on, I'll be back up to 3.1 metres, something like that, I think. It might be under 3 metres, but not very much. Anyway, that's all fairly nice and clean now, sort of. Give that a shot with oil can as well. Paint brushes too, if you're using enamel. Straight engine oil, just cheap engine oil. That's the best thing to keep everything nice and clean and stop the paint going hard. Dan's doing a little production run of narrow gauge steam locomotives. They're looking really good actually, and Dan's usual style is reasonably heavily weathered. Don't know how much weathering he's actually going to put on these, and someone's going to have to rein him in and tell him to stop a bit before we put some. We really want to get some stripes on it first, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Because the roll is 6.1 metres long or something like that, it won't go in a standard car park spot, which is a bit of a problem here, because the car park spots are only 5 metres long. There's a truck bay down the middle, but it's kind of a pain in the blocking them from experience is a real nuisance, because I know people who've done that. And I'm not that keen to be that person, especially not with a vehicle that's impossible to move. So, I'm going to have to park it sideways on a couple of parking spots, I guess. It's probably the best way to do it. But not for too long either, because body corporate and stuff's going to get all upset, I reckon, very quickly. Anyway, we're getting this clean. Probably a bit fussier than I need to be, but anyway. So, is chat frozen again, or has everyone just gone quiet? I'm just prattling along here. I don't know if anyone can actually hear me. It's all awesome. Yep, James P, good day. Peter Noddle, good day. I just refreshed that. Take care, Paul. Hope the fire alarm's okay. Paul's just a quiet person. You're going to pin straight with Fergie. Gosh, honestly, worry about that in about 15 years when you get it to the point that it actually runs and you can put a coat of paint on it. And I'll do something pretty cool. Dan bought 2 vintage tractors. Not sure about the logic behind that, but yeah, they look. It runs now. The funny tapping noise and the black smoke coming out the side of the engine block is sort of a telltale that it might need some work at some point, but it is running. Good stuff. I don't know. Dan's home for wayward projects is nearly as bad as here. It's all right, because some of them are mine. I don't feel so bad now. Anyway, I'm going to stop fiddling with this in a minute and put it away. I don't know, tractor's a lot of work. I honestly seriously considered a tractor project. And I looked at a number of projects before I decided on a steamroller. I just didn't sort of close my eyes and say, hey, there's a steamroller, let's buy it. Oh dear, pretty things, let's buy one. I looked at a few things actually. And there's a bit of a story to that. I looked very, very carefully at something that I'm very, very glad I didn't sort of take up on, and that is a Sentinel steam wagon down in Victoria. There's basically enough bits to make a copy of one if you have a good tape measure and enough new materials. And not at a very convenient price. The guy wanted, it was a bit difficult to deal with, and he wanted way too much for it. And I just stepped back and said, no, that's not going to happen. I looked at a Rumley oil pool. There you go. Very seriously looked at a Rumley oil pool. Fairly big one. New shape with the forged frame or cast frame. Biggish one. Big project though too. Was all there, but I don't need a project like that. My life's too short for that. Team Miskers, how's the price of a full-size machine compared to that of the UK? Good question. I think we're still a fair bit cheaper than probably what I've seen come up in the UK, although I do see some bargains. Like I absolutely see, if I was in the UK and that engine was for sale, I would have been very, very interested in having a look. But prices going crazy. There was an auction this weekend, just gone. I think it's still running actually. I think it finishes tonight. If anyone's down Ilford Way in New South Wales with a trailer, hit me up. But yeah, some of them here are 300,000 too. Absolutely. There's a big Marshall stationary, a big Marshall road locomotive in Victoria that was advertised for 320,000 Australian dollars. That's crazy. That's what makes me think that this is probably a reasonable investment, because it's got a new boiler and I don't think it's going to go down in price anytime soon. But there was a 4 horsepower Marshall with a boiler ticket, fairly rough and not the original wheels on it. All there and operating. And that went for 30. Well, the last bid I saw last night was 35,000. It's probably got a bit more on it now. I was going to go upstairs and have a look. That's a pretty crazy price for a portable. It was a fairly early one, but it was a bit rough too. 300 grand UK is 500,000 Australian, that's right. But if there are engines that were bringing, engines like the ones in the UK that were bringing that sort of money here, they'd bring that sort of money too, I think. That's where we're at with that. I think people would be looking for that sort of money. But, I mean, it's only worth what someone will spend, I guess. That's where we're at with that. Your Britannia is pretty nice, though, Dan. Dan's got a Marshall Britannia, which is the Colonial Firebox one. It's got a log burner firebox on it. And it's pretty tidy, but it's probably worth silly money. Same deal. The rollers, the other sort of interested party was in New Zealand, and there's probably no one was particularly interested in entertaining him until he came over here to have a look, and I don't think that was going to happen. So anyway, Stuart's got the rains. Yeah, it rained here last night. We had a storm, but it's supposed to be fine for the rest of the week. We'll see how we go with that. So yeah, it's sort of things are worth what people pay for them, and some things are worth more here than probably would be in the UK, and some things are worth more in the UK than they would be here. But at this point, I think I've got a pretty good deal, and I've got a very nice machine. It's had a Scarifier on it. One hub's got a Scarifier carrier hub on one side, which looks a bit ugly actually. It makes it stick out a bit on one side. Whether you leave it on there, or whether you find another hub, or whether you get one made, or whether you leave it as it is, which is probably what's going to happen. Having a Scarifier on it is sort of a blessing and a curse, to be honest. Because Scarifiers wear rollers out, like completely slog the gears and the running gear and the bearings and everything out, because they're pretty hard. It's like, yeah, it's like digging your fingernails in the chalkboard day in, day out. Scarifier is pretty hard work, especially in asphalt road, but they weren't really designed to do that anyway. They were only for macadam roads. And it operates off the pivots off the back wheel, back axle, with a screw lever to drop it in the ground. So this has had a Scarifier on it, and the Scarifier has been taken off when it was restored, and someone at some points put a new set of gears on it and new bearings in it because of, and that's sort of probably something you would have put off if it hadn't had the Scarifier and you'd have a half worn out engine. So that's probably a good thing. It works well as a brake, that's true. Like Dan says, he's trendy. Me and Dan are the trendsetters. What you do see, though, in the UK, and this rally season, I've noticed it probably more than ever before, when you see videos from the rallies and photos from the rallies, is that there's a lot more big miniature steam, because there isn't any full size left available to get. The hobby's growing, but the direction it's sort of heading is half scale and quarter and third scale steam, traction engines and so forth and so on. And you see a lot of them, commercially made ones even, popping up because people just can't get full size ones. So I think you'll see that here too. The miniature steam will pop up, but at this point, full size steam is still a fairly attractive option compared to a commercial miniature steam locomotive, a steam traction engine or a roller. There we go. So that's I haven't got any real thoughts on it. But I guess it's trendy. I don't know. It's kind of, I think it's going to be an industry that's going to keep growing, and they're going to be a lot harder to get hold of. Especially, I see big collectors basically hoarding these things up and buying them and dragging them home and stick them in the shed and hoping, I guess, when they die that they get sold for crazy money at auction, which seems to be what happens. You see Fowler road locomotives, which is a different thing altogether to a roller, but Fowler road locomotives, that the person who buys them at auction's actually got to take a chainsaw and cut the tree out of the middle, and then rebuild the boiler and put new tube and tube plates and new barrel and throat plate and firebox bits and smoke box bits and chimney casting and all those sort of things. And they're bringing the last traction engine I saw go to auction in that sort of condition was 120,000, and you still got to spend $70,000 or $80,000 or $100,000 on a boiler, and then you're only a quarter of the way through the restoration. So people who are doing this, I mean, what motivates them? What makes them think they're ever going to get it going? I mean, you've got a $250,000 machine that's really only worth that if it looks like it's worth it. You've got a pretty rough machine that you want $250,000 for. I don't think it equates. I don't think people actually got that sort of money to spend on it. It's got to be a show pony before it's worth that, and that's what you've spent on it to get it to a stage where you haven't even painted it. So, I don't know. You could get me really wound up on that topic, and I'm sorry about that. But realistically, things are worth what people will pay for them. And I see tractors, and I see Land's Bulldog, P-model Land's Bulldog for sale in Queensland here. It was fairly tidy, older restoration. Sort of a wartime, just pre-war Land's Bulldog, big one. $25,000-$30,000. That's crazy. It's crazy. I can remember when I was a kid and they went at auction for $4,000 or $5,000, and people were like, I'm not going to touch that. That's way out of my price range. I don't think we'd even bid on that. We wouldn't be interested. Can't even come at that. And good, big, well-off collectors saying, oh, pity about that going that price, and just go overseas, and you can't touch that. That's not justifiable. It's not sustainable. But it seems like it is. And yeah, Anyway, rant over. Sorry. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I don't think. Sorry, Yeld, I had to put up with that. Yeah, very lucky that there's someone out there who really doesn't need to get rid of it, but would like it to give someone an opportunity, and that's where I got lucky. Wasn't really a situation where it had to go or it had to find another home, or probably would have been happy to just hang on to it for another 10 years. But yeah, another project he could have funded with the money, and I guess we got on okay. And that's kind of lucky. But yeah, Aussie Muscles Cars, the same thing is, like, seriously, it's just crazy. You've got a GT Falcon or a HQ Monaro, or not even, it's just vintage cars in general. There was a Dodge Brothers, a six-cylinder Dodge Brothers. It's fairly tidy six-cylinder Dodge Brothers, a reasonably recent restoration. The guy wanted 80 grand for last week on Facebook. And that's a lot of money for a 1930s car, early 30s. So for a Depression Dodge Brothers, that's a lot of money. So nothing's getting cheaper, and I guess that's a justification that, honestly, I'm sort of glad I've done this. I've had the opportunity to do this when I could, because it's never going to happen again. And I'm very, very unlikely to ever, unless it's a trade up or things go in a different direction, it's unlikely to ever repeat itself. '74 Falcon Coupe for 120 grand and not a GT. Yeah, that's just crazy. It is crazy. And you look at stationary engines in particular, and sort of vintage tractors. They're the things that I notice in particular go up. A tidy Field Marshal, $15,000-$20,000, unrestored. A Ronaldson Tippett Austral stationary engine, portable stationary engine, petrol or kerosene, 25, 30, 35,000. It's just crazy. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. Anyway, I've bored you to tears for long enough. Some of you had the decency to leave, and some of you just drag it on. But I'm sort of not. I'm a bit passionate about that subject, and I'm really very, very, very lucky to have this opportunity, and don't really want to throw it away. But no kids to leave it to, and all that sort of thing. I'm just going to have fun. Collectors are on the market for everything. Well, that's true to a certain point, but they're not really. It's not just collectors. It's supply and demand. Your price on Land Cruiser flat trays of any era, Toyota Land Cruisers. Here in Australia, they're just crazy prices. I saw a flat tray dual cab there with a few extras on it. Guy wanted 220 grand for it. I mean, that's just silly. $220,000 for a Land Cruiser. Anyway, that's where we're at. Got to go too. Thanks, guys. Hit the like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. All my new subscribers, huge thanks, guys. I'm going to give the whole Rough Cut 2020 thing a shout out too. It's a hashtag bomb for the 1st of October. Getting closer. What are we, about halfway? So expect to see some progress on videos. I've got mine worked out exactly what I'm going to do now, so I've just got to get in and do it. But hopefully I can do it and film it in a day and a half. It's not going to be a crazy big project. Anyway, be kind to each other, and especially to me. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And more soon, eh? I'm out. And jump on Discord if you want to chat. I'm there sometimes, but the rest of the guys are pretty good value. And follow my Facebook page, is Fowler 16771. 16771. Which is the Fowler page. Anyway, thanks, guys. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Might have a video before then, I hope.